janefinch.com.
Hey, it's your girl Butterfly. We are just wrapping up the city consultation that a resident anti-poverty group, Jane-Finch Action Against Poverty, pushed the city to have this meeting, or at least that's how community members see it. I'm with Chavenne. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Actually, that's exactly what happened. We did push for this meeting because it didn't exist prior to us pushing for it.
So we had the city consultation. What is the fear of residents? What could possibly happen?
Well, at this point in time, I think the fear of the resident, fear of myself, is that we're going to be removed from the table altogether. That the little support that we have been receiving is going to be ripped under us like the rug, and we're all going to fall on our asses, as to say, right? Right now, I think the notion that's been given that we were labeled priority and we didn't necessarily want to be labeled priority has nothing to do with the issue. The issue, the funding that was given is being taken away. That's the proposal at this point in time. The fear is that we will no longer be receiving the support, but we're still going to be over-policed by TAVIS, by other policing who are getting hired on a regular basis, while the programs and support that are needed here, the jobs that are needed, the supports for health, our senior population that is rapidly growing, their health benefits are being cut down. Those kind of things being cut down. The long-term support that is not there already is going to be even further reduced. So that, I think, is one of the main fear for a lot of the residents in this community at this point in time.
You spoke very eloquently about a lot of the issues and fears if certain decisions are made. What's your fear as a resident in this community, or a resident who lives in a community like Jane-Finch, but also might use programs and services in this community?
One of my biggest fears is basically no accountability, that the city is coming in with these fake consultations saying that, oh, we're here to see your opinion, but the fact of the matter is they're planning these cuts, and the message that they're showing us is that they are going to cut Jane-Finch, and we can't let that happen. My fear is that these programs, these art-based programming, these employment opportunities, all these beautiful agencies and services are going to be cut away in Rexdale, in Jane-Finch, and if we don't come together as residents, as members of this community, and try to do something, they're going to steamroll us, and we're going to become the next Regent Park. Straight up.
I want to ask so many questions with just that one statement. So they're focusing on 5 themes or 5 areas to indicators. What are those indicators, and how does that connect to Jane-Finch?
To me, they're bullshit indicators, because I don't think that they're effective in deciding which neighborhoods get to become the Toronto neighborhood strategy, whatever. And the fact of the matter is, it's really, really clear. There are a lot of neighborhoods in Toronto that are dealing, poverty is a real thing with them. And when you're coming in here and you're asking employment opportunities, what employment opportunities? There could be employment opportunities, but can I seek those employment opportunities? And they're trying to see if whether high school dropout rates, all these indicators, they're interesting, but they don't show a clear picture of what's really happening and how we should determine. The fact of the matter is, they shouldn't even be telling us there's only 12 communities. They're making us fight for 12 positions. The fact of the matter is, our taxpayer money is going somewhere. Where is it going? To the police? You know what I mean? To the city councilors, so they can hide it with God knows what they're doing. So our money is there. We need to find our money and bring it back to the community. That's all it is. There shouldn't be 12 neighborhoods. There should be every neighborhood in Toronto that needs this money, that needs the services. Poverty is real in Toronto, and they shouldn't ignore it.
What's the concern if these cuts happen?
As far as I'm concerned, these cuts are not going to happen in Jane-Finch, because we made it very clear to them that we're a very strong, loud, vibrant community, and then we're not going to roll over when they do things. These cuts are not happening in Jane-Finch. I'm not sure what's happening in the other neighborhoods, but we're going to all stick together, and we're going to come to the deputations on March, and we're going to make sure that they hear us every single time until they restore the funding in Jane-Finch, and hopefully solidarity with all the other neighborhoods in Toronto.
Absolutely. So this is actually up to 12 neighborhoods in Toronto. So it could even be 2, it could be 8, but the maximum is 12. So no matter how you look at it, 2 neighborhoods will be lost in terms of investing into. So you're at the meeting today here at Oakdale Community Centre.
Yep.
What were your thoughts?
Okay, so we had a meeting here in the lane, and
the atmosphere was, you know, it was a bit confused at the beginning because the tables were segmented. Thought we were coming for a community meeting, and it turned out to be like speed dating with City of Toronto people. You know what I mean? So they broke down some questions. The questions were all surface questions, like, do you think that the stuff that we put in front of you is important? And everything was general, like economic opportunities. Do you think economic opportunities is good? Well, of course, economic opportunities are good, but can we get some? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know. And I don't even know the politician. I don't know, he's a ward councillor or whatever his name is. I don't care about his name. He had a blue tie on, which represents conservative. I know his platform. That's all I need to know. And I know that conservative's platform does not support impoverished people and anybody who's in the Jane-Finch area. So him speaking at this meeting had no relevance whatsoever.
If these cuts happen, okay, how would that look like to you?
First of all, I work within the community. That's part of my sustainability and income because I do workshops. I'm with a group called No Man's Land. I also have my own organization called Raw ENT, and we do different programs within the community. I do video production, I do theater, I also do masculinity discussions, black masculinity discussions, you know, and these were all funded. All these programs are funded by different fundings, you know what I mean? They come from Laidlaw, they come from, but the bottom line is that if these cuts happen, that even if we have funding now, we can't go to the West Side Arts Hub anymore with our funding. We can't go to spaces that we have right now because of this funding. We'll be forced to have to pay higher rent at professional establishments and leave our community to go there. Also, I'm in school too, so as a student, opportunities will be taken away from me. Being in the community, maybe transportation. Really right now, I couldn't pinpoint it. There probably could be, I could list out some things that would happen and more things would happen because it's a ripple effect all the time, you know?
So tonight was an intense meeting.
It was an intense meeting, but a good one, yeah.
Okay. So your role for today's meeting?
So my role was to explain the overall process around the Toronto Strong Neighborhood Strategy, where we've been, what we're doing now, and where we're going to go with all the input.
Mm-hmm. So how did the community receive what you were trying to deliver?
So I would say that, first of all, this was the best turnout we've had in any of the conversations. So I really appreciate the community for that. I think there were a couple different positions. So part of the community was really frustrated that this site wasn't chosen originally as one of the places for the conversation. I think I heard really clearly that people are very passionate about this community and the services and opportunities that need to be here. And people are really afraid that the city is going to take those away. And so people were really clear in trying to tell us what is important and that it needs to stay and that it needs to be sustainable. That's the message I heard.
So there is a process in collecting this information and putting it into a database, and that kind of turns out almost a result.
Yeah, so it's kind of like we're gonna take all of what we heard over all the community conversations. We're going to take some of the research data that we've received around how neighborhoods are doing and issues of equity, and we're going to put that together and analyze all neighborhoods in the city and then come up with a list. And council then will decide how many and which neighborhoods are we going to invest in moving forward.
When does the council make that decision?
We will be going to a Community Development and Recreation Committee. That's the first stop in March of 2014, and then to the council meeting following immediately after that. So the decision will be made early next year.
Will communities who are and do have a priority status know that changes are coming down before March?
So I think the challenge is staff cannot make the decision about designation. That's only city council can do that. So we can't, we can't tell community if there's going to be a change because council is going to make the decision about the change. So it will happen at the same time. But one of the things I heard really clearly tonight was that we have to make sure that communities receive our report as it's moving forward, so they understand and see their comments reflected in what we're doing or what we're providing to council. Okay.
What could be the possible backlash if funds or, Jane-Finch is not named as one of the neighborhood improvement areas?
Well, I think if any of the 13 isn't named as one of the neighborhood improvement areas moving forward, everybody in all 13 are afraid about that. I think they're afraid that all the gains that have been made over the last 8.5 years would be lost. And so we understand that, and our commitment is around ensuring that there is a good and solid plan and process so that we can protect the gains. It doesn't make sense to shift resources from one place to another and create a problem in the place that you've left, right? So we're mindful of that. I don't have any magical answers, and I don't know what will happen until we finish this process. But we clearly have heard that everywhere we've gone.
Well, with the City of Toronto in particular, we were labeled within the Jane and Finch community as a priority neighborhood. If that is removed from the municipal level, it starts to inform what happens on the provincial and federal level. So when we are writing and making applications to do things within the community, without that status attached, then the first thing that these other bodies are saying is, well, why do we need to put any more investment into the community? And that puts a complete a halt on all the work, all the great work that has started, that has not been finished. We see that there's a lot of things that are still happening. The elimination of poverty has not ended in this community. We see that there's still young people who don't have employment. We see that there's still young people who are saying that they don't have access to the things that they need. We see that elders and all community members keep talking about many of the things that are still missing from just having quality life in the community. And if the municipal level of government removes our status, and that just goes up, and that leaves us in a terrible position.
No, I don't.
Help me. Did she not say stay here?
Sorry,
you said that you failed them. I want to know, are you using that same format?
Yeah.
To figure which areas you're going to keep or cut.
Okay.
Because if you're using the same format, you're failing us the same way. You're not making any difference. And what we are here for is a difference. And if you're not going to get the difference, all you politicians that are here looking for votes, you're not going to get it. You should not get it. We are here, and we're here for a purpose. We're not dogs, we're humans, and we need to be treated as such. This is a community. Without us, there's no community. And if we cannot get what we want, I'm sorry that we need not work with you guys. And I'm being straight. We need you guys to work with us. We are the community. The community is not us. Our kids are here, and we're here to protect and defend them. You talk about safety. 2 kids just died 2 months ago. And that's what it takes for you people to open your eyes to this area. It shouldn't go that far. You guys need to open your eyes and remember, we're here. And we need you guys to work with us, not we work with you guys.